Welcome to the third episode of the English version of my podcast, As I Lost My Ego and Was Found by Myself. My topic today is my simple understanding of non-duality. I will use or try to illustrate it. So I will also publish this podcast as audio podcast on Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music. So if you only hear, or hearing is happening, it might be a little bit difficult, but you have the possibility to go on YouTube. I will attach the link so you can view the little presentation I have prepared for you. So this is my attempt to visualize oneness. The one, the divine. I choose a circle which is a perfect geometry, no beginning, no end. But this is in the duality, and there is an inner space and outer space of the circle. So, but nevertheless, I choose this, and yes, this is love, oneness, and the divine. I don't know why, decided one day to create. And now there are two. You see, there is this small circle now inside the big circle, and yes, oneness had created. In the Bible, there is, I haven't read the Bible, but I have uh, some small pieces of knowledge about the Bible. And the Bible said God created according to his own appearance. In German, it's Antlitz. I don't know the exact word in English. So if I, yes, and the God created or divine created, and I will not draw endless little circles. I choose only two circles to illustrate my understanding. And yes, I zoom now in, and you can see these two little circles. And my understanding is not that if God created according to his appearance, that now that God is a man with a white beard or something like that. No, my feeling or experience is that the divine made this wonderful gift to human being, and that is a little spark of his divine consciousness. That is the divine gift. And in the last episode, I told about that my spiritual journey is a point because you have to go nowhere. The little piece of divine consciousness is already in me. So I have to go nowhere. I don't like to use you, but with I only talk about myself. Myself. So I was born, and sometimes I think, and that's now guessing because I can't remember as I was born and as I grew up, but this little human beings, they just exist. They haven't developed an ego. And now from the parents say to this little new being a name. And I was told I'm Rolf. And in the beginning I understood, no, Rolf. Who is Rolf? No, I, and that's guessing. I had this connection to other beings. There was no separations, but slowly repeating and repeating, Rolf, Rolf, Rolf. Someday I understood, ah, I'm Rolf. And then I felt the separation. And again, the Bible had this history about the paradise where the beings lived and they were connected, only one consciousness, no separation. And then there was the tree of knowledge. I don't know if knowledge is the right word. In German, it's Baum der Erkenntnis. I feel that a better word for knowledge is the mind. It was the tree of the mind. And someday mankind got this, I won't call it a gift, but the mind appeared. And the same moment, I feel the separation between me and you. And I look at you and I say, oh, you are naked. You have to cover yourself. Oh, I'm naked also. I have to cover myself. And ego is arising. And what happened? I have to protect my ego. And how can I protect my ego? There are these two turbo accelerators for the ego and the mind. And there are my and more. So I need more to protect my imaginary ego. And how can I protect my ego? I need more and more and more. My career, my money, my house, my boat, my car, my flat, my holidays, and so on and so on. And the mind was telling me, I set goals for you, and if you will reach them, you will be happy. Or you need more and more and more. And in my own development, I became unconsciousness. I lost the touch. I couldn't feel my consciousness, myself anymore. More and more bullshit is covering, is collecting and growing. This little spark of divine consciousness is still there. So I have to go nowhere. But I couldn't find it anymore. I lost it. No, it's still there, but I lost the connection. And the mind and the ego are growing and growing. Yes. And other egos I have relationships to also are trying to protect themselves. And so now I have a relationship to my wife, and she has to behave according to my wishes to make me happy. Yeah, that's no good idea. So in a way, this happened to me for 30 years, 35 years. And then there was this point where I just decided to let go, to surrender. I didn't know at this time what I was doing. By what I was doing, I had another picture. Uh, Now you can almost not recognize anymore the divine little spark, this gift of love, but it's still there. So what I did, just by surrendering, by let it go, by accepting every feeling, no matter if it was painful or joyful, I reversed the process without knowing it. So I let go one piece after piece, and it just happened. No understanding, no no goal. I didn't sit down and decided, oh, I have to cleanse my unconsciousness. I have to, yes, to let my ego go or dissolve. No, I was just sitting there, feeling my body. I welcomed every feeling which arose in my body. I loved every feeling, even if it was really painful. I felt the physical pain and the emotions which are connected to the body and the soul. I recognized later. Yes, and I did this for weeks, for months, for 3 years, and I didn't understand anything. And one day, the shelter, the covering up of my consciousness became, yes, became lighter and lighter. And one day, I felt just a beam, a small beam of consciousness, and I was sucked in a way into myself. I have still an ego, so the process is going on and on. I don't know where in this process I am in this moment, and it doesn't matter. So most people are, as I was, sometimes still are, without consciousness. I often felt in my life that I was in a kind of autopilot. I was not in charge of my being. No, I was not in charge of my being. I had no control. I thought I could or had control about my internal and external life, but no. So there are teachers who say, you have to control. Yes, you can control, you can try to control yourself. No, it's about me. I try to control myself. That was a lot of effort. It doesn't work. It hadn't worked. For a small period of time, okay, but then I was lost again. And now all these cravings, not all, but cravings just fall apart. And at first, as usual, I didn't realize it. And a few weeks later, I say, oh, what happened to me? Food is one of the cravings I had. So in the evening, chocolate, potato chips, sometimes both. And the feeling in my stomach was awful. But I couldn't control this craving. Then suddenly, as I did this process, it just fell apart. And I realized, oh, for weeks, I didn't eat in the evening. And in other parts of my external life, this happens also. My ego just slowly dissolves, and the cravings also dissolve. I don't need any more of those external stuff I'm putting in myself to, yes, in a way, to make me happy. So nothing in the outward can make me happy. I can make me happy myself. It's not about happiness. But why I don't can feel happiness or joy. I feel it more and more in my life. This morning I was preparing breakfast for my family, chanting, full of love, full of thankfulness, and I enjoyed myself. And this has consequences also for the beings around me. The more I relax and enjoy myself, they say, oh, where are these bad moods he had in former times? When he did things which were, yeah, how I should, worse or bad, or I don't know the word in English. So life becomes easier and easier. And all this happened without effort or intention. At the moment, I still can feel changing. I don't understand it. Perhaps later on I will understand it or not. Not very often, but sometimes I have a question about anything. So, or this question is arising in my consciousness. So I don't start analyzing or guessing or no. I just say, oh, a question is arising. Often there is an immediate response which is also just arising. Sometimes it may take a few days or weeks. Sometimes there is no response. And the funny thing is, then I couldn't remember the question. So, in a way, there is no need for questions anymore because I don't try to understand what's happening. That's so relaxing. And again, sometimes ego or the mind got me. And they create my problems. But more often, if I talk to you or in my daily life, there is no this divine consciousness. If I don't know if I can be present anywhere, if I just, in a way, in this boundless space where no ego is. But I have this feeling that consciousness is there. And consciousness is guiding me. And now I feel, not every time, but I feel when the ego tries to create a problem for me. And then I say, oh, nice try. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Sometimes I say, oh yes, I need this problem, and now I'm angry, I'm pissed off, I'm. So these days, my son was visiting us, and his girlfriend had a camping mobile, and there something was to be repaired. And I have this multi-tool, and I said to him, oh, I have a multi-tool, you can use it, but afterwards you give it please back to me. And okay, that's now the part which, if I say I knew my son, the only I knew about my son is the picture my mind has created about my son. My son is always changing as myself. But my mind said, oh, you won't get your multi-tool back. And what happened? My son was driving away. And I thought, oh, where's my multi-tool? In former times, oh, my tool. I knew it. And now I thought, oh, he took my multi-tool. So what? Do I need it at the moment? My mind was trying to create the problem. I felt it. And I let go. And then I thought, oh, he can have it for all time. It's a gift. And then my mind said, oh, you had to buy another one. I was going to Amazon and researching multi-tools. And after a short period, I just sat back and thought, do I really need this multi-tool anymore? I ordered no one. Yes, I, that's the flow. I have no control. I started with my understanding of non-duality, and now I'm talking about my multi-tool. But that's all about it. It's about love. It's about letting go. It's about letting go, creating problems which never, in a way, exist, only in my mind. Buddha said, life is suffering. yes, 35 years, life was suffering. Problem after problem, conflict after conflict. But there is a way out of suffering. And for me, it's not the emptiness. It's not the endless flow of equanimity. No, it's being. And being is love. I don't have to describe being. That was the mind again. So, maybe you will know what I will say. Not about you, about me. I surrendered. I let go. These days, I don't look. That's the mind again. He wants to say, I don't look or view any more films or serials or Netflix or whatever, but mostly I have no need anymore for entertainment. Being is beyond the need of the mind to be entertained. So the the problem is my family sits together in the evening and is looking at Netflix or whatever, and I prefer walking in the forest, just walking. But this day I watched a film I watched earlier, but this time it was different. My perception of the film was different, and in a way, why ever I looked this film, perhaps only for this one sentence, and the woman said in this film, we are not being, we are having. Yes, that's the madness of the world which is created by the mind. Having, building up the ego. More. Mine is German. My. And then suffering is appearing. Oh, if this is my house, my car, someone may make a scratch on my car. That doesn't mean everyone can take everything from me and I'm just smiling. No, that won't work. But no, I have the, the the possibility to decide. That's willpower. To take a decision. No, that's not quite correct for me. Because in the last 30 years, I wasn't able to. Yes, I was in the prison of my mind. And willpower there would be the attempt to control. And that hasn't worked for me. So the last 30, 35 years, and that's again the mind, but I will say it anyway. Yes, the process was very slow. Nevertheless, I persist. I was going on and on, meditating, sitting down, meditating. I had my few teachers. I listened to them, but I wasn't able to get out of it. I was in a way controlled by my ego and my mind. I had no connection. I feel this little knocking on my door. Myself was just knocking persistently, go on and on, on and on. And I told it several times. There was the point where I just let go of everything. My teachers, their teachings, their should and shouldn'ts. And then the journey began to the point where I still was already. This little gift of divine consciousness was already there and was just waiting in the world of the duality to be discovered again. And this, I had also this nagging, this inner voice who said, share this, talk about it. And as I said, at first I ignored it because I prefer to be myself and not to be drawn in the outside. But the question arose in my consciousness, should I share? And the answer was yes. So I do it. I do it. Doing. Is it doing? This question just arose. And the answer is no. As far as I'm talking about my experiences and as far as I be by myself, this is not doing. This is being. Feeling my love, sharing my love, feeling my being. That's duality. But yes, feeling my being. Talking about my experiences. That's not doing. And I don't know if I have talked already about it, but feeling is in a way the point. If you, no, not you, if I put my awareness on a part of my body and feel it, feeling is. I will talk later about the process, perhaps, yeah, in the next episode I will talk about the process, which sounds so technical. I don't like this word, but I haven't found yet another word for this, what is happening. So I feel that feeling is a tiny little part of oneness. if I feel there is only feeling, and in a way, it's one. And so I uncovered myself week after week, month after month, perhaps for 2 years, I don't know, doesn't matter, without knowing what I was doing. And this still goes on. Every evening is different. I feel different things, crazy things. I will talk later about it. And I don't think about it. I don't analyze it. Mostly I forgot. Yes. So, surrendering, feeling, embracing everything which arises in my body, the pain, the grief, the fear, anger. In a way, I'm experiencing now this stuff I have put in my subconsciousness because I didn't want to feel it. Only the good ones are welcome. Ah, no. That hasn't worked for me. Now I am embracing every feeling. And it's not work. The 35 years before, that was work. Sitting down, training my equanimity. That was work. Sometimes really hard work, and the development was not very, yeah. And the crazy thing is, now it's effortless. No work at all. No effort. Just letting happen was what was happening. In the protected space of meditation, that's easy is perhaps the wrong word. But it's easier as in my daily life. Now, this also happens in my daily life, but without my control. I don't say to myself, don't react, don't be angry, be loving. No. It just happens. Not every time. Sometimes I became angry. Sometimes the trigger is coming and I welcome the trigger, I welcome the problem and said, oh, now I'm going in. So what? More often and often I can feel in a short period of time what was going on. But this is not efforting. That is what I mean when I say consciousness is with me. I realize it, I feel it, and then I'm out of the conflict. I say to my ego and mind, okay, You've got me once more. Now I'm out. And no guilt. I did a lot of things which were not supporting the persons who I love. But at that time, I had not the ability to behave otherwise. I was in control of my mind and my ego. Now it's different. So no guilt. Hale Dworskin of the Sedona methods said, guilt is you start punishing yourself and you never end punishing yourself. Guilty, 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 guilty. And that's the past. Can I change the past? No. I can't change the past. Is it useful for my family members if I feel guilty? Now do they feel better if I feel bad? No. If I feel my love, that's changing. And I don't feel my love to change other people, no. Perhaps they feel it or not. It doesn't matter. They take their decisions. So what? No should or shouldn't. Just be. And no change by myself to change others, to control others. That doesn't work for me, or hadn't worked for me. That's it. That's it for today. My next topic. In my next topic, I talk about the what happened in detail to me this last 3 or 4 years as I surrendered, and I don't tell it to you so you should recreate it. No, I just tell my story. That's all I share. I don't teach. I make no rules. I am being and you are being. There is no separation. Separation is the mind, the ego. It's a construction. It's imaginary. And the mind will say, oh, how could that be? I'm in charge. I have the solutions to all of your problems. Oh, yes. No. The solutions create no new problems and problems and problems, an endless chain of problems. That's suffering. I have already finished my talk and now I've started again. So no, right now it's the end. So this will go on my video podcast on YouTube, and the audios I published on Spotify and so on without the video image. So if you like to see me or to feel me, perhaps it's better to view the video. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all if anyone is viewing, looking, or listening. I just share.